All right, let's dive into a really incredible story from the world of medicine. This isn't just about a new drug, it's about a massive problem, a very, very vulnerable patient, and a piece of brilliant science that completely changed the game. Think about it. When you go in for a procedure, you're worried about, the surgery. But what if the most dangerous part of the whole experience was just going to sleep? For a small group of people, that is the terrifying reality they face every single time. So, let's start right there with the hidden dangers of anesthesia. For you and me, it's pretty routine. But for some folks, it's a total high-wire act with no safety net. The heart of the problem is this. If you have a myopathy, that's a disease that affects your muscles, the normal rules of anesthesia just don't apply. Your body can react to those standard drugs in ways that are wildly unpredictable and honestly, incredibly dangerous. And we're not talking about feeling a little groggy afterward. Look at these risks. A standard muscle relaxant like succinylcholine can cause a huge spike in potassium in the blood, which can literally stop the heart. Other anesthetics can trigger dangerous heart rhythms, mess with the body's automatic functions, or make their underlying muscle weakness even worse. It's a minefield. So what is this specific disease we're talking about? Well, at the center of our story is a very rare and aggressive condition where the body's own immune system basically goes rogue. It's called immune-mediated necrotizing myopathy, or IMNM for short. And that name tells you everything. The immune system, which is supposed to protect you, gets confused and starts attacking and destroying its own muscle tissue. That word necrotizing means cell death. It's not just inflammation, it's active destruction. And when we say rare, we mean rare. In the United States, it only affects about 7 to 11 people out of every 100,000 each year. That rarity makes it really, really hard to study and even tougher to figure out safe ways to treat these patients. And to make it even more complicated, IMM isn't just one thing. It's got different flavors, you could say, based on the specific antibodies doctors find. The anti-SRP type is the most severe, often hitting the respiratory muscles hard. The seronegative kind is often linked to an underlying cancer. And the one in our story, anti-HMG-CR, even though it's considered milder, it comes with its own scary risks, like trouble swallowing and lung disease, both huge red flags when you're talking about anesthesia. So, with a problem this dangerous, doctors desperately needed a better tool. And that brings us to the solution. A really cool drug that acts almost like disappearing ink. Okay, the drug is called Remizilolam, and to see why it's such a game changer, just look at it next to an older drug, Midazolam. The big difference is how your body cleans it out. Midazolam has to go to the liver, it's a slow process, and the stuff it breaks down into also makes you sleepy, which is why you feel groggy for so long. But Remizilolam, it gets broken down super fast all over the body, and its byproducts do nothing. They're totally inactive. That means a super quick, clean wake-up with a much gentler effect on your heart rate and blood pressure. And the secret sauce? It's this tiny chemical detail, an ester linkage. Think of it like a little molecular break here sign. This hook allows enzymes that are found all throughout your body's tissues to just grab the drug and dismantle it almost instantly. It doesn't have to wait in line for the liver. It's literally designed to do its job and then vanish. It's just brilliant engineering. All right, so we have the disease, we have this amazing potential solution. Now let's get back to our patient and see how this all came together when everything was on the line. The patient at the heart of this story was just 21 months old, a little girl with the anti-HMG-CR type of IMNM. She needed a feeding tube put in, a critical procedure where, for her, the anesthesia was arguably the biggest risk of all. So, the team went with Remizilolam, and for the whole 2-hour surgery, her vital signs were rock solid. No dangerous heart rhythms, no scary drops in blood pressure. But here's the part that's just, wow, 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes after they stopped the drug, she was breathing completely on her own. They could take the breathing tube out right away. No need for reversal drugs to wake her up. It was the perfect definition of a fast, clean, and safe recovery. And the outcome? It really says it all. After recovering, she went home on the 18th day with no negative after effects. Without sequela just means no complications, no lasting problems from the surgery or the anesthesia. In a case with this much risk, that is a home run.
So what does one case, one little girl, mean for the big picture? Well, it's way more than just a single success story. It really does represent a whole new kind of hope for these patients.
Let's just break down why this is so important. First, it gives doctors a much safer tool for people with myopathies, cutting down the risk of those awful heart and breathing problems. Second, it means recovery is fast and predictable. That's huge for anyone, but it's absolutely critical for patients who already have muscle weakness. But maybe the biggest thing here, this is a perfect example of how powerful targeted drug design can be. We can engineer our way out of very specific, very dangerous problems. And that really is the thought to leave you with. This isn't just about one drug or one disease. It's about precision medicine. It shows that by understanding a problem right down to the molecular level, we can build these incredibly elegant solutions. It really makes you wonder, if we can solve this puzzle, what other medical challenges that we used to think were impossible are we on the verge of cracking next?